Hey Games Radar, this is Joe McNeely. I'm here with,
Charlie Barrett,
and we've been playing some Halo Reach multiplayer. We thought we'd share with you a few of our favorite maps.
as well as show you footage from each one.
So come on, let's check it out. So the first map we want to show you is called Reflection. Reflection is a remake of the Ivory Tower map from Halo 2, which is an old favorite of mine. But this time they've done it up in this very cool, very zen-like Eastern style. There's a rock garden, just like polished wood paneling, and
Yeah, there's even some fish ponds like koi fish. You can look down in the shimmering reflective water and see the little golden fish swimming around. There's a lot of little details like that, and I think this is like the prettiest map in Halo Reach.
it's definitely the most unique. It feels like it could almost be something out of our world, and it does. It's almost exists separate from the Halo world.
Yeah, I believe it takes place in one of the human buildings rather than like a big military installation. And I think that's one of the reasons we like it. It's not a bunch of gray hallways. It's the least sci-fi perhaps of all the maps.
It has a kind of a warm feeling to it. The color, the tone of the place is very warm, which is nice. It's also based on a classic map, which is outstanding. Weapon placements, everything. Lots of detail there. You actually visit a place styled very similar to this in the campaign during one of the later missions, where you're sort of hopping around throughout various locations in New Alexandria, performing good deeds for the inhabitants there and trying to help them get out. So yeah, the first map that we love is Reflection. Another one of the new maps that we really liked was called Boardwalk. It's another one that takes place in New Alexandria, the human city on Reach.
And it takes place in kind of an urban plaza with a lot of tourist effects, like you'll see binoculars that tourists would come over and use to look out at the various scenic views. It's a map that kind of reminds you that Reach was once a place that had a thriving population of Earthlings before the fall of Reach.
And just in terms of the way the map plays, it's really cool because there's a lot of kind of passageways and corridors running underneath the plaza, but then there's also plenty of room that's kind of out in the open for longer range kind of combat, so it lends itself well to a variety of match types. And again, it looks kind of un-Halo-like in its style, which I think is maybe what is one of its main draws. It's clean, it's white, there's plants,
It almost reminds me of the Citadel in Mass Effect.
Yeah, it does. It very much could be like a map on the Citadel.
Nice vegetation, trees, and I just feel like the big open area in the middle, because it's probably very good for team games with those two, like you said, the two areas on either end. They're very intricate with hallways and multiple floors, but in between those two end points is just a long, big expanse, which is great for shooting rockets at each other, or Spartan lasers, and things like that.
Up next, we have Forge World, which is really cool. It's 5 separate maps, all sort of cobbled together into one big map that you can edit in Forge. Charlie?
Yeah, so Bungie originally was planning to do these as actually 5 separate maps, and then they developed a technology that allowed them to have things that are far away be kind of drawn. The technology would draw things that are far away to make them look realistic to you, but it's not using as much processing power. So they realized we can actually put all these 5 maps together into one huge map and then allow our fans in the community to then cut up this huge map into whatever chunks they want to make their own custom-made maps.
And now, a lot of the areas in Forge World are recreations of stuff that you've played in past Halo multiplayer, but then there's also a few areas that are more uniquely styled, is that right?
But I think people would be really excited about the stuff that's not so new, like the Halo Reach cleaned up version of Blood Gulch. What's great is that you can also, using custom games, turn off some of the stuff that Halo Reach brings to the multiplayer, like armor abilities, so you can actually go back and play classic Slayer like you used to in the old Halo games in Blood Gulch on Forge World with the old Halo rules and just pretend like you're not playing Halo Reach at all, except for the prettier graphics.
They've also integrated native support for racing match types that you can build in there in the Forge World. So in some of these big open expanses, if you want to do checkpoint races and that sort of thing, you can integrate all that. So like combine like checkpoints and rocket races and all this kind of stuff. And Forge's vast open expanses are really a great place to try some of that stuff out too.
Yeah, so this is pretty much the biggest map Bungie has ever done. and it's also kind of their farewell gift to their fans. Since this is their final Halo game, they're saying here's a huge just open canyon, waterfall, island combination that you guys can do with as you please until we bring out a new franchise.
It's like a Disneyland of death. Okay, finally we bring you Spire, which is sort of the counterpart to Boneyard, which many of you played in the beta. It's custom built for invasion match types, which means you have the attacking team and the defending team. The attacking team is trying to push forward through 3 checkpoints, and each time you capture a checkpoint, the defenders fall back to another point. So Spire is really cool because of the way that it's laid out. You have this big Covenant spire, and the Spartans push in. First, they try to push towards the spire, then they try to capture the base, then they try to capture the pinnacle of the spire. So there's tons of different types of gameplay involved in this, just sort of open combat in the open areas, and then more sort of corridor combat inside the spire. Tons of vehicles. Falcon gets involved. Once you get to that 3rd checkpoint, when you're trying to actually take the pinnacle of the spire, really awesome. You're launching up there in man cannons. You got the Falcons flying in with Spartans trying to take that last spot. You have all of the Covenant team holed up in there trying to defend it. It's just awesome. Great variety. Charlie?
Yeah, this one just has epic scale. Like Joe said, there's enough room on this map that they included a Falcon, Banshees, and Warthogs. And when you jump in a Falcon, you pretty much either have to jump in a Falcon or jump in a man cannon to get to the top of the spire. Like, it towers above you. And I remember when the guys at Bungie were showing us this map, they were in the Falcon, and you could see guys man cannoning up, and there was like little specks on the screen, super far away, just tiny little dots launching into the sky. I think this is one of the few times in Halo Reach where I really felt the same kind of sense of awe and just epicness as I did when I fought the 2 Scarabs in Halo 3's campaign. This has that feeling.
So there you go. There's our first round of favorites from the Halo Reach multiplayer. We'll be playing a lot more of this in the days and weeks to come, so keep an eye out, and we'll see you on Xbox Live.
Yep. Thanks for watching.